Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and today's a bit of a different one and more of an educational one, I guess. And what we're going to be talking about is diversification in Forex. So basically how you can diversify, why you should diversify, and what would actually be the drawbacks of diversifying your portfolio. So there's going to be another one of these videos where I just draw on the screen. And yeah, so we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to start off with what is diversification. So for me, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just having either multiple pairs or multiple strategies across different time frames, making new money. And the reason I feel like this is important is because rather than your equity curve looking something like this, right, big swings, it should, in theory, because it's diversified, it should be, much smoother in terms of drawdowns and whatnot. So that's the theory behind it. That's the way I think it should be anyway. That's what I'd expect from more of a diversified portfolio. And this happens because, look, if one pair isn't doing too well this year, well, another one might be making up for it. Now there's obviously drawbacks to it, so we'll get to these in a second, but how could you actually diversify? So like I said before, there is a few ways to diversify. Let's get rid of this background. So there's the pair or portfolio, you can say, diversification. So if I'm trading the euro dollar, I might add the pound dollar, Aussie dollar, pound Aussie, all the other pairs, right? So that's pair diversification. I feel strategy is quite a common one, and I feel like it's an important one as well. If you've got, let's say, a trend continuation system, right? So your trend continuation is in trending markets, but in the consolidation, you're going to get slaughtered. So you need something within, and obviously patterns are a good continuation strategy, not continuation, sorry, consolidation strategy. So if that's something you want, then you can go down that route. And one I feel like that goes underlooked, and it's something I'm keen on building quite a bit, is time diversification. And what I mean by time diversification is just time frames, right? So let's take a continuation strategy. You're buying on every pullback, right? You've got a 3-point move, you're buying on every pullback. Well, if you do this, let's say on the 5-minute, and then you do it on the 1 hour, and you do it on the 4 hour, you're going to get different signals at different times, and they're all going to mix together. So you're going to have that diversification. And the benefits of this is that, look, if you're, say this is on the 4 hour, right? And this happens very rarely. It happens maybe once, twice a month tops. Well, on the 5-minute, this would have happened however many times. So by the time, let's say, you've taken a few losers on the 4 hour and you're in like a 2-month drawdown, which on the 4 hour probably isn't that much if you're only trading like 1 or 2 pairs, but on the 5-minute, you probably made up that money just by winning. You would have probably gone through 1, 2, 3 drawdowns in that 2-month period, just because it's such a short time frame, and you would have made money. Now, what just happened? In theory, that should happen, right? But it can also work both ways. So when you're in the drawdown on the 4 hour, you can easily be on a drawdown on the 5-minute. So that's the drawbacks of diversification, because you're adding more risk to the pairs and the portfolio in there. So it's not the best. But for me, one thing I'm looking to have is basically this. Just give me a sec, so I'll start drawing it out. So what I want are 2 things, right? So I don't know why I drew 2 lines, but let's go for it. Sure. So the portfolio I am aiming at is this. So I want 4-hour patterns, and there's no particular order, doesn't really matter. I want 4-hour patterns to be in my portfolio. I want and then I want day trading continuation, right? Oh, there's no enough space. Jeez. There you go. So day trading continuation. That's what I'm aiming for right now, and this is done across 16 pairs. So for me, I want this across 1 to 16. I don't know why, but yeah, 16 pairs. So for me, this should give quite a well diversified portfolio in theory. Right now, can it be more diversified? Yes. And how would you diversify it further? Then this, I would do something like this. So I would actually have 4-hour, or you can say swing trading continuation. There you go. Can't type. Swing trading continuation, and you can have day trading patterns. So you can have, let's say, patterns on the 15 or the 5 minute, and I feel like this should give you a very well-rounded, timely, diversified portfolio, which you can apply to all of this. Now, problem is, how can you actually manage this? Is it realistic to manage this? Well, for starters, first thing I'd say is you would need to split these up into 2 accounts, straight down the middle here. You need to have a day trading account and a swing trading account. That's personal views, because a swing trading account, maybe you're in the trade for a few days, maybe even a week. Well, in this week, I might be able to get 1 or 2 opportunities on the day trading time frames, or on the 15 minutes. So you want to have that. You can't really have them conflicting. That's my personal preference. So if you have £5,000, for example, you might want to split it 2.5k on each account, or whichever one, you know, you might side towards which one's better expectancy or whatever. So there's that. Now, is it actually manageable to trade? Well, for me, from my experience, 4-hour patterns on 16, I'm going to call it 20 pairs actually, just because I basically track 20 pairs. So 4-hour patterns on the 20 pairs, does it take long to do? It takes me around, let me see, around, I check it once a day currently, only because I'm forward testing it. So in a way, I'm like, I don't really care as much. But if you was to trade it live, you have to check it maybe 2, even 3 times a day per day, and it will take you around no more than 10 minutes. So we're going to do 30 minutes total. Alright, I'm going to put these in yellow. So 30 minutes for me a day, that's what it will take realistically. Continuation, that would go along with your swing trading analysis, and so just on that, I'll add another 30 minutes just to do it. Typically, I'd probably do it in under 30 minutes, both of them, just because if you're going for continuation, you sort of know before, you know, as soon as you click on the chart. For me, I personally know if I'm looking for something or not. So there's that. Now, 15-minute patterns and day trading continuation. Now, I can't move to the left. How long would these take to analyze? For me, these take around, let's say, I'd say 30 minutes as well. But that's on the initial analysis. So you can probably add 1 hour of your time for day trading. So for me, I trade 7 to 11 as a day trading hours, and actually going through the charts doesn't take longer than an hour, because I'll do my 30 minutes analysis in the morning. That's how long it will take across the 16 pairs, and that's because I write it down on the checklist. 30 minutes max. Again, I'll do like a video in there as well, so it's even less than that. But 1 hour, because let's say that's 8 o'clock, I'll just briefly go over every pair just to see how the candle closed. At 9 o'clock I'll do that as well, 10 o'clock I'll do that as well, and that's it. I'm done for the day, right? And these little checkups, you already know what you was looking at, so half the pairs you're not actually, you know, doing anything on. Now the 15-minute patterns, I feel like I haven't tested this. In terms, not actual back testing, but in terms of trialing it out, I feel like this would be fairly intense. I don't know why, but if you're someone like me that, you know, looks at these smaller moves, that tends to see these smaller moves, then I feel like it would get quite busy with orders and everything, so I'm not going to give a set time for this. I would assume it's around an hour per day, but I feel like you're a lot more on edge doing so. Now, the thing about my trading style is currently, I don't really, yes, my main focus in day trading is sort of continuation approach, but I am allowed to take counter trend or structure based trades, which, you know, typically would happen as well in a consolidating market. So I almost cover these 15-minute patterns with my day trading, because sometimes if it is a decent support level, I'll just buy at the support. So if it happens to be a pattern, then it's a pattern. Obviously, entries are a bit different, but you get what I'm trying to say. So for me, realistically, this is what I want as my portfolio, like I said before, for now. And it doesn't take that much of my day. This for me is much more fun, and this would fill up these in theory, right? But we never know, and it's just one of these things where, look, you keep the account separate, but the downside of this is, like I said before, you can enhance your drawdowns like this. It doesn't necessarily mean it minimizes it alongside, let's say, if you're only trading euro dollar and pound dollar. Well, these are heavily correlated pairs, so if you're trading the exact same system on the euro and the pound, well, you're likely to almost double, let's say, your drawdown, because the results can be very similar at a very similar time. Now, not identical, right? Similar, but that's what's likely to happen. That's what I've seen happen from my results and everything. So yeah, there's a little bit on diversification. Hope you found some value in that. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe, all of them things. And yeah, this is the goal. 4-hour patterns, maybe in just how many, 2 months, hopefully. For about 2.5 months should be finished testing, and it is what it is. I really hope they come back positive, because otherwise I would have wasted about 4 months, and that would have just frustrated me a lot. So yeah, there's that. And then day trading continuation, we know I've been forward testing it for 3 months, so I'm not too sure if I will back test it or not. That's just honest opinion, but yeah, we'll see what happens, and yeah, in a bit.